banana bread. Look at this dog too. Anytime I've got food, this dog thinks I'm pretty great. But I want to point out a couple of opportunistic things real quick. Actually, I don't know why I'm saying. Well, I do. The second thing, really. But anyway, I busted this thing that goes on there with the scoop on my tractor, which I've got videos about that scoop. It's powerful. But it'll tear stuff up in a quick second. So I'm putting it back together using Bondo. And actually, I was thinking I could use fiberglass for this one. But Bondo's convenient because it's paste. I really could have put this all together and just painted that fiberglass on here and then laid a net on here. It would have been as good or better. I don't know what that is. Looks like a kind of a reaction. So that's one thing. Another thing, I'm missing this headlight cable for some reason, and I kind of like to get it hooked back up before I put that back together, so it's not a total loss. I want to make sure that's 12 volts on the switch, and then hook them headlights back up. All right, now real quick, here's my other opportunistic, or here's the thing that's really opportunistic, you might say, because I wasn't planning on doing it, and there's my situation is filled with things that I'm not planning on doing, and then I do it, and it pushes everything else back. But actually, I had been wanting to do this, thinking about it, sort of planning on it. But what happened was, I was driving down the road. Well, actually, I was getting those pallets, and on the way back, I saw somebody spilled off some sod. So I thought, I'm going to pick up that sod off the road, this little trailer here. So I unloaded my pallets, and when I went back to get that sod, it was only about 10 minutes, maybe 15. They'd already pushed it to the shoulder. Well, the good news about that was that I knew that because I think there was some rolls that fell off, so they took everything they wanted. The rest of it they pushed to the shoulder. So anyway, so I grabbed it, and but then I've had experience laying sod directly on top of grass. It doesn't work very well, and this was kind of a low place anyway. And so I went and got some dirt, pretty good dirt for Kentucky, and so now I've laid that sod there. And like I say, it's opportunistic. Really, the sod is opportunistic, but the lawnmower is a mistake, really. I made a mistake. I hit it with a scoop, and I shouldn't have done that. But you know, another thing is, if you don't fix stuff, when you break stuff, if you don't fix it, you just keep breaking it. When I was a boy, I got a Volkswagen Bug, and I used to like to drive it over the rough road and railroad tracks and stuff, and I wrecked the bearings. So when I went to fix the bearings, I said, bushings really, I said, I'm not going to do this again. And I didn't. I got another opportunistic thing today. The customer, I was painting the guy's deck. Don't say that and talk to text, it always spells it wrong. So I'm staining his deck, and he said, and actually I did it last year, and then I put another coat on this year, and then I said, I don't think this stain's going to last another year, so I said, you take it. So I decided I'm going to put it on my deck here, and this actually is a water-based stain that I put on here, and it's rubbing off. I don't know if it's because you walk on it, can't stand it, because it's on here, it's okay. Of course, vertical surfaces tend to do better than flat surfaces anyway. So anyway, then I got started and then I got called away. It's kind of dark, but I'm going to finish it. And some of this was even beating up water. Over here, it was beating up water, but I went ahead and put it on anyway. It seems to be laying down. Oh, another funny thing about this stuff, it never really dries. You can put your brush. The brush has been sitting in that can. Well, I did rinse it out with gasoline. But really, you can. I could leave this brush here overnight and come right back. It would not be crusty at all. And there was no skin on this stuff either. Over a year, after a year. But the color is settled at the bottom. And it doesn't really, you can't hardly mix that color in. It just makes little drops of black. So anyway, I'm going to put it on. I probably have enough to do another coat tomorrow. Another funny thing is I've got this fenced off because this is kind of opportunistic too, because we had the bunny ran under here. They let the bunny out and then it ran under here. The dogs chased it under here. You can see the dog was digging. So my solution is we put the fence around we call this the kitchen gazebo, and put the fence around it, and then I put a live trap, which is over here, and I think animals will go in this live trap if you give them a chance. And so we went in there, so now he's back in the house. But I'm leaving this fence on here to keep the dogs off. Here's another thing I'm doing. So the story on this air compressor is I'm just about time to get a new one, but this one still works. And my main complaint with this one is the motor on top, like that, makes it top heavy, tip over, and it falls over, and then I have to repair this. I've repaired this pipe a number of times. I think I need a new controller, and then I put this on because I don't know, I might need new motor starters, I'm not sure, but if it's got high pressure, it pulls a lot of electricity. So this way I plug it in first, turn it on, and then if there's a problem I can shut it right back off. But see, it went to start. Actually, I was going to go ahead and run it too. And so my idea is I put on this cart, and if it'll work sideways like that, then it would be more stable on that cart, take up a little more space, but I don't think it's going to fall over. It's not as likely to tip over. I need to probably rearrange it a little bit. I could take the wheel off. I don't need the wheel anymore. Maybe I could have it kind of slightly tipped. One problem is this drain is in the wrong place, but maybe I could set it so it's kind of slightly tipped and a little more. But anyway, the question at this point is, will it even work at all tipped over like this? Well, it reached pressure and it shut off. I can't see very good. Wouldn't hurt to have. I don't think it's not very high pressure. Well, it's right there on the edge of the red. This is after the regulator. This is the tank. And I don't know why it's releasing air. It's weak. It needs a new controller, I think. I'm not sure how they work, but it can't be too difficult. They don't cost, I think I can get a new controller for 20 bucks, maybe 40. And it looks like it'll work like this. I just need to take this wheel off and then put something maybe under here so that it's stable. See there, it shut off. So I've still got pretty good pressure in the tank, about 80. So I guess that's what I'll do for that. I'm looking at, you can buy a new one, but there's pros and cons, and you have to decide, and you have to spend money, and I wouldn't mind having a big one, but the thing of it is, I need one to take to the tractor, so to speak. And so that's the idea with this, the wheels. Another thing I know, I could have a big one, and I could have just an air tank, and then I could carry that air tank, which I used to have an air tank until somebody stole it, but it was heavy. When you go to carry it, it's heavy, and then you got to fill it up, and that was kind of a nuisance. And theoretically, you could have it always full on a big system, but anyway, I think this will probably work all right for a while till I, decide to buy a new one. Once in a while, you need here's another pro and con. Most of the time, 80 pounds is plenty. But once in a while, if you're hammering on a big nut, and it won't come loose, you'd like to crank up the air pressure. And so once in a while you want that high air pressure, but until that day, I guess I'm not going to worry about it. Well, I know how this works all of a sudden. So this is what determines the shutoff time. This is your tank pressure. That determines when the thing is going to shut off. And then this pipe here is your goes to the regulator, and it's regulated. That's your output. And then you've got your electric contacts in there. So yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll just get a new regulator. And the gauges work, but I might as well get new ones so I can see them better. I might even mount it in a different way, but then again I might not. But what I could do, if I put an elbow on this, I could have it elbow up, and then I could have it mounted so I could see those gauges. That wouldn't be too bad. See those, gauges.